Trigger warning, spoiler alert, this is what 200 looks like. You are experiencing the 200th episode of the Tom Kelly Show. I'm keeping this one short. This is literally my 5th attempt at doing the damn podcast. You know, I've put too much pressure on myself doing a 200th episode, and now I'm at the point where I just can't perform. I did 2 different versions in my apartment, and I got to a point where I just said, I want to stop. I just did a version in the car, and my friend Andrew Garcia texted me back because I was going to offer to do the podcast at his house. When I say offer, I was going to ask him to do the podcast in his house because I felt like doing it with a friend would just put pressure on me to not hit stop. So in the end, he texted me back. I could barely read it. I'm in traffic. Screw it. I'm doing the damn show. And here's the challenge I give you guys. First, episode 200. This is the Where Is Our Relationship Going podcast. And I'm scaling back my guarantee to you all. I'm going to guarantee the episodes on Mondays and Wednesdays. Long story short, I was producing a great show on Monday for you guys. Then I was feeling a great deal of anxiety on Tuesday. I'm releasing good episodes on Tuesday, but the ratings don't. The Tuesday shows don't rate, so I may still do 3 days a week, but I'm only guaranteeing on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then there will be surprises across the board on social media as Tom Kelly Show. I'm getting a lot out of the podcast, and I want to thank you guys for being a part of this adventure and continuing it. Thank you to my old established friends from college and high school. Thank you to Mark Epstein. Thank you to Brian Kiss. Thank you to Dan Stanton. Thank you to Karen Ruiz. Thank you to Tony Wolkin. Who are my other old friends that say hi? Thank you to Cindy Sorensen. Thank you to my Magic Mirror listeners, if you will, who have become my friends. Thank you to Marianne. Thank you to Ryan. Thank you to Diana. Thank you to Colette. Thank you to Bridget. Thank you to Chiara. And thank you to all of you guys. All I can say is you guys have made this experience fun. You've made the pandemic fun. Is that scary to say? 200 or any milestone is a chance to look at your life and where you're going. And I looked at the podcast. I looked at, I'd say, the last 100 episode descriptions. And I was trying to think about what I learned from you guys and what I've learned from this experience. What have I learned from our guests? And, I've learned technical things. I'm still experimenting. I'm growing. We've pulled back on certain elements. We've pushed forward on others. And whenever you hit an anniversary, it's a chance to look at what you're doing. It's a chance to double down on what's working, and it's a chance to do less of what may not be working. And I'm asking all of these questions in my head. And when I look back on the things I've learned from you guys, and there's a few individual lessons, I do remember how I've made myself feel in this experience, and I hope that I've made you guys feel good. Had a great long chat with my buddy Steve Berger about what to do with the podcast. If this is the home of personal growth and fun, his line was, hey, why don't you do more fun? And I think he is right. I went to a comedy, actually last night, had a great series of shows at the LOL Comedy Club. Shot my shot with a woman who was from Scotland. If Kira is listening, Kira, you were gorgeous, and and it was funny. She had a real Scottish accent. She sounded more Scottish than Shrek, but she was gorgeous, and I have never seen a gorgeous woman from Scotland. It's funny. A friend of mine's ex-wife, who was from Ireland, used to say the Irish and Scottish were not attractive people. And in Kira's case, she was wrong. Kira, God, in this age of, is it racist to do accents? I don't know. But yeah, Kira, if by any chance you're still in America, call me. Yeah, and there you go. I want to get back to the fun. Also, last night it was funny. I was talking with one comedian friend, and just the hard part about this particular comedy club is there's nowhere to hide if you're doing 4 shows in a row. And then there's just one comedian there who was breaking into the club, a great person when they're just not whining about their damn career. And you know my expression, sometimes we hate in others the qualities we see in ourselves. So here I am, I'm like, listen, I don't want to be your goddamn therapist, Johnny. You know what? I'm having enough trouble writing my own jokes, Johnny. Enough whining about the club. I'm the one who got you into this goddamn club. Go find somewhere else. And then, that's the hard... Anyway, there's this moment where you go, am I doing that to you guys? So we're going to get into more of the fun. I think as I look at what's been working with the show, I think sometimes offering focused opinions on a topic have done well. The guests rate once. They don't rate if you have them on 2 times. Like my friend Warren, a high school buddy, a therapist, and not to repeat the joke from 2 episodes ago, an unlicensed but registered therapist, actually rated very well on YouTube, comparatively speaking. And then I did a second episode with him, and not so much. So I don't, and both episodes were fantastic. My 2 episodes with my old friend Warren Young, worthwhile episodes, because it's funny, getting back to the thought of what have I learned from doing this podcast. Warren had a great piece of advice. If we change the destination, do we change the journey? And I get that. Yeah, how about that? And I think what I'm doing right now is I'm changing to shorter term destinations, shorter term goals, shorter term progress. Geez, and when you get into, have we heard this advice a million times? Our friend Jen Gottlieb said that on the podcast a year ago. But for right now, I've done a lot of massive experimenting, massive change. When our friend Jeanette Barber challenged us a year ago to do the podcast 3 to 5 times a week and get 30 to 50 in a row, certain things improved. I think my diction has improved. My ability to speak straight to camera has improved, except for when it hasn't. And again, this is take number 5 on the damn podcast. Though in all fairness, take number 4 was a combination of bad audio and a complete lack of confidence. And oh my God, I hope to God the audio in the cheap Jeep, the loaner Jeep, is working for you guys. Deep breath in. So what have we learned? Change the journey, change the destination. And listen, if I want to whine for a minute, actually, I don't want to whine for a minute. I'll whine in 2 minutes for a minute, but I don't want to whine in this minute. So Steve Berger, his line was focus on the fun. So we're going to do that. We're going to focus on more of the fun. We're going to focus on more of the topics. We're going to focus on sharing the message. Boom. That's done. What have I learned from you guys? If you change the journey, you change the destination. I am all over the place. I think I'm a victim of wanting too much and being capable of too much. So we're going to focus on wanting a little bit less. I do eventually need long-term goals, but I'm not going to stress myself out about them anymore. It's funny. I was talking to this comic yesterday about wherever their career was, and they're like, this, this. What if? What if you're not going to make it? What would you do? Would you still do this? Would I still do this for fun? And the answer is right now, yes. I like talking to you guys. Now, it's more satisfying when I get more interaction. It's more satisfying when the numbers are up higher. And we'll talk about, but overall, working with you guys, doing this podcast is one of the spokes in my wheel. And I was going somewhere big. Oh, last year we talked a lot about my North Star. It was a person whom I found attractive, I had matched with on a dating website, and the person was my dream person, physically at least, and career-wise, probably not personality-wise, because it doesn't have a happy ending. And you guys will remember a year ago, I was putting that person's picture on my phone as my excuse to lose weight. And every time I would look at a pint of ice cream, I would say, would this woman find me attractive if I ate that pint of ice cream? You know, if I got myself down to, and I had set a number of 190 pounds, and I got down to 193 at my peak of weight loss. I'm now way up from there. But if I could get myself down to 190, I would feel free to hit on her more. And the flash forward, I eventually bumped into the person at and what I thought was a divine coincidence. Flirted with the person, and it just didn't work out. And that was the big thing. You had this big long goal, and it didn't work, and you lose faith. So what about getting back to the smaller goals? I'm rambling a bit, but I lost my North Star. So we are going to change the destination, and we're going to change the journey. That's my thought. Did I mention I was flirting with a Scottish chick last night? So I'm getting back to the little things that make me fun. I'm getting back to saying yes to things, and I'm trying not to think too far ahead. I've asked certain guests to be on the show. Some say yes, some say no, some say maybe. And, the one nice thing about doing the show solo is, listen, I'm in traffic. I'm just a man with a selfie stick and a dream right now. I don't need to worry about whether or not my friend Caitlin O'Connor, who is a friend who came to see me perform in New York City, she was supposed to do what would be episode 201, and then she got caught in Los Angeles traffic. And blah, blah, blah. We'll talk later, but she has 500,000 followers on Instagram. And so you have to figure out one thing in my life is, if I am going to grow with this podcast, how do you enroll people who have more success into your success? Now, part of me is grossed out by that. I call that up climbing sometimes. But on the other hand, I'm always good at being good and hoping somebody sees me. But sometimes you got to figure out is, how do you get your message if you are doing something good? How do you let people know your product exists? And just putting it out there in prayer just doesn't work anymore. Like when I did IHateWeddings.com back in the day, all you had to do was put up a .com, and it generally went viral. You posted a few message boards and it would go viral. Now we're a victim of this algorithm, that algorithm. Facebook, the machine thinks you just said something dirty. Just being good doesn't work anymore. That's a frustration. I'm rambling a bit here, and I apologize. But again, 200 episodes, I deserve this, people. So I have the angst, and sharing the angst is not enough. It's now you got to share the funny. And what I'm trying to do too is share the adventure. And some of this is a learning process. Like, honest to God, right now, I am podcasting from a car. And again, I like you guys staying subscribed to the audio version of this podcast and YouTube, because I don't love any of these algorithms anymore. Even the podcast algorithms are starting to be evil. And I don't trust Apple Podcasts anymore. That's a whole other thing. But right now, I'm driving. Left hand's on the wheel, right hand's on the selfie stick, and I have an Apple AirPod in, and I'm hoping the sound is coming out good. What am I learning from today? It's a technical experiment. I actually look gorgeous. I keep looking at myself when I slow down, and if you are looking at the video version of this podcast, in the words of our old friend Warren Young, I am not an unhandsome man. So I guess that's really all the episode 200-y things I want to say. It's funny, there are times where I've just had a clear vision of what I've wanted in life, both professionally, romantically, and comedically. And again, scaling back down. Like for dating, you know what? I had these visions of who I want to date and where I want to date them and what I want and love, this, that, and the other thing. You know what? I'm over it this month. You know what I'm into instead? Just having one nice night out. I'm going back to being a serial dater. I have a date coming up with somebody who might be listening to this podcast. That's the hard part about... So I won't date other comedians. Well, I mean, I would, but I'm not jumping at it. And I definitely won't date people with blogs because I don't want to be a topic in a blog. So that makes me wonder, why the hell would somebody else date me if I wouldn't date myself under the similar circumstances? I am, ladies and gentlemen, in that regard, a hypocrite. But I am scaling back my goals a bit here, even on dating. At this point now, I was looking for the right person. I was looking for something good. At this point, I'm going back to being a serial dater. If I could have one nice night out and not get somebody pregnant, I'm feeling good. I think I like being single. Actually, is that wrong? You know what? How about that for an episode 200 revelation? I like being single. You know, I mean, listen, if magically I could go back in time and, you know, Holly the ex, I would have done two things differently. If I could go way back in time and the things she did wrong and she did them differently, I would have been happy. You know, and then there's one or two other people who I could have had kids with. I wish they said yes. But now, listen, I'm 46. I was hitting on a hot Scottish girl last night. Nothing happened, but it was fun to flirt. You know, again, maybe I'm ruining my life by thinking too hard. Maybe I just want to go back to being a man whore. Maybe it's time to be a man whore. You know what? How much longer does this hairline have left? You know? So I have a couple of dates, and you know what? Instead of trying to find love, maybe I just find a nice hour and a half out. Boom, success. I'm going to Maine in a week, and I'm going to be in the beach house. By the way, if you guys want to help my career, I'll put the link in the show notes and in the secret Tom Kelly Show fan group. If you want to start commenting on the Portland Comedy Co-op Instagram and say, hey, I heard Tom Kelly is going to be in Portland next week. Is he performing at Lincoln's? I asked if I could get a spot at this great comedy show in Portland, and they said the show's already booked, which is probably the polite way of saying, we don't need another New Yorker stealing our spots. Whatever it is, I really enjoyed the people there. I really enjoyed the scene. So you could help me there. And yeah, so how about that? Episode 200. Let's just get it out of the way. Honestly, sometimes, actually, this is your lesson. Let me give you a lesson, America, as we speed up to 50 miles an hour on the Long Island Expressway. One, don't video blog and drive. It's dangerous. I could kill you right now. I think it's legal, though. I think it's legal. But whatever it is, people, don't video blog and drive. And if you do, stay in the right lane. Do not go over 49 miles an hour. Second is, don't screw up something by making it too important. Holy shoot. That's, you know what's funny? I'm giving you a life lesson. Don't screw up something fun by making it too important. Don't make a date too important, but, you know, don't screw up a first date by planning the wedding. That's a Tom Kelly expression. That said, don't screw up an episode 200 by making it a TED Talk. Boom. And maybe for you guys, you know what? I mean, a milestone's just a milestone. It is a chance to reflect. But also, don't screw up something fun by making it too important. How about that? Wow! God bless me and the selfie stick. I knew the energy of being on the road would turn this into a good podcast. You know what? There you go. So, folks, I'm back on Wednesday. What am I back with? No idea, because all the guests I've booked keep canceling last minute. Oh, go annoy my friend Caitlin O'Connor. on Instagram. Just say, I heard you're coming up on the Tom Kelly Show podcast. I swear she has a boyfriend, not hitting on her. I am hitting on a couple of her friends. She is trying to set me up with a model who will break me in half. She's trying to set me up with a model who was on a TV show called F-Boy Island. And basically it's a show that has nice guys and man whores, and the models have to choose between the F-boy and the nice guys. Me as a nice guy, you'd think I'm very pickable. Anyway, this particular model on the TV show, I think she wound up with the F-boy, but yet this girl wants to set her up with me, the nice guy, because I'm someone who will make you laugh. And there you go. I'm someone who will make you laugh. And just like with this podcast, I may screw up a great night of sex by worrying about whether or not I can perform. So I think we've had a couple of good things here. It's funny, I'm coming up, Andrew Garcia, if you're listening, I'm coming up on your exit right now, and I'm going to give you a call, but this is what you missed out on, not texting me back 5 minutes sooner. That's everything here, friends. I love you all. Good night, Long Island Expressway.